Alright, going to be doing another video on Nietzsche-Thus book Zarathustra. Going to be doing part 2, section 6, which is on the Rabble. It's a little bit cloudy in here today, a little bit of darker clouds, so maybe it might rain on me, but we'll see. But I got 2 of them to do for you right now. So on the Rabble, he's kind of talking about, this is kind of where he kind of gives the idea of nausea. And the notes on this section at the beginning of this part, which you'll see, let's see, where is it? Right here, like he in the notes that they have at the beginning of each part that are about each section. Basically, he kind of talks about nausea, and that kind of relates to Jean-Paul Sartre's Nausea. He has a book called Nausea. It's like a novel, but it has a philosophical concept of nausea, the existentialist concept in it, and we have that in here, which I will discuss. Life is a well of joy, but where the rabble drinks too, all wells are poisoned. I am fond of all that is clean, but I have no wish to see the grinning stouts and thirst of the unclean. Now, he's talked about the Overman quite a bit, and in my videos on this book, should be pretty clear on what the Overman is and what he's talking about when he says that. If you want a better discussion about the Overman, I have videos about that in my Nietzsche playlist. But basically, the Overman is somebody who that Zarathustra wants himself to be, and he is the Overman. The Overman is somebody who goes beyond the naturalness of human existence. He wants to transcend that. This isn't really like, it's not like he wants to be the same as humans, so it's not really humanism, but he wants to go beyond the human condition. He wants to go beyond the human existence by making new things, by creating new things, new concepts, new ideas, new everything. Oops, lost my bookmark. But he's talking about the Rabble. What the Rabble is this sort of everybody else sort of thing. The Rabble is all people who engage in religious things, and the Overman doesn't acquiesce or cede to any sort of god or anything. It's almost like the Overman is himself as his own god, but the Overman doesn't cede himself to any sort of thing above him. He is his own thing. He makes himself, in a sense. So the Rabble is everybody else who drinks from the same wells. The disgusting, he talks about it as disgusting, the poisoned wells. The spirit itself seethes and smokes where the Rabble steps near the fire. What does life require even the Rabble? Are poisoned wells required, stinking fires and soiled dreams and maggots in the bread of life? So the Rabble is kind of like this disgusting existence of man, I guess, about the disgusting and horrible things that man do and not. And that's just meaning that the Rabble are people who are not the Overman. Everybody that is himself human. The Overman basically becomes above human. He's often translated from the Übermensch in German to Overman or Superman. He goes beyond himself as his human existence. And the Rabble are people who don't. People who hold a religion and believe in a god, who have a god, I guess. Basically, sorry. So it says, not my hatred, but my nausea, gnawed hungrily at my life. Alas, I often grew weary of the spirit when I found that even the rabble had esprit. So, his nausea gnawed hungrily at his life. And nausea, what that kind of is a feeling of disgust toward human existence. That's kind of what Sartre says about it. And Nietzsche, talking about this here, is nausea about human existence. So going on here, what was it that happened to me? How did I redeem myself from nausea? Who rejuvenated my sight? How did I fly to the height where no more rabble sits by the well? Was it my nausea itself which created wings for me and water dividing powers? Verily, I had to fly to the highest spheres that I might find the fount of pleasure again. And here is a life of which the rabble does not drink. So it's kind of going against that, and it's talking about the idea of nausea. And I guess what true life, I guess, is you flow for me almost too violently, fountain of pleasure, and often you empty the cup again by wanting to fill it, and I must still learn to approach you more modestly. All too violently my heart still flows toward you, my heart upon which my summer burns, short, hot, melancholy, over blissful. How my summer heart craves your coolness. Gone is the hesitant gloom of my spring, gone is the malice of my snowflakes in June. Summer have I become entirely, a summer noon, a summer in the highest spheres of the cold wells of blissful silence. Oh, come, my friends, that the silence may become still more blissful. But this is our height and our home. We live here too high, and sleep for all the unclean in their thirst. Cast your pure eyes in the well of my pleasure, friends. So, it's almost like this well of his pleasure is a way to go beyond. It's like life beyond the human existence, life beyond the rabble. He often talks about the rabble as people, or everybody else who was not the overman. It's kind of interesting how that works. Let me go to the front here. Nausea, according to Sartre, is one of his chief trials, and its eventual conquest is his greatest triumph. So in this case, Nietzsche does overcome this nausea. Normally Nietzsche celebrates the spirit, but in this case, the whole idea of esprit is not what he's really thinking. It's not really what he's really talking about when he talks about the spirit. It's kind of a different concept than the esprit of the rabble. So let's see here. On the tree future, we build our nests, and in our solitude eagles shall bring us nourishment in their beaks. Verily, no nourishment which the unclean might share. They would think they were devouring fire, and they would burn their mouths. Verily, we keep no homes here for the unclean. Our pleasure would be an ice cave to their bodies and spirits. And we want to live over them like strong winds, neighbors of the eagles, neighbors of the snow, neighbors of the sun. Thus live strong winds. And a wind I yet want to blow among them one day, and with my spirit take the breath of their spirit. Thus my future wills it. Verily, a strong wind is Zarathustra for all who are low, and this counsel he gives to all his enemies and all who spew. Beware of spitting against the wind. Thus spoke Zarathustra. So, I can kind of go on trying to explain this a little bit better, but tell me below if you think I butchered this or messed this up. This is kind of a big and important section, I think. So let me know in the comments below. Let me know any thoughts you have. Thank you.